it comes down to that love and fear reflex. Are we attuning our expression to love frequencies, to empathy, to compassion, to expansion, to affirmation, to our divine supernature, or are we reflexing into a constricted, fearful, terrorized, apocalyptic, Armageddonist outcome? You will be the determiner of the outcome for yourself and for your family. Be sure of that. This is a very, very important alchemy that is taking place. What is happening outside on the hologram is merely an extraneous reflection of the archetypal language that is playing on the inside of each of us. It is a struggle for the human soul. It's a struggle at the spiritual level. And we've already won this war, as I said, but the battle remains to be fought on the ground by each one of us. And so it's simply a matter of recognizing that and choosing which frequency, so to speak, you choose to identify with. Remember, the status quo is made up of hundreds of years of deception and of billions and billions of souls who have abnegated their true light and surrendered their sovereign spark into the field. All of that energetic is encaptured within the atmosphere of the earth, so to speak. So we're dealing with the need for each of us to actualize within the dream. We know that we've been living in such a false light construct for so long, based on blood cultism, based on war, disease, and poverty, based on the sacrifice of the harvest of innocence, based on generations and generations and generations of blood economy. We know this to be true. Therefore, how the devil do any of us imagine that that game could have continued forever? It could not, it should not, it must not. It is the grace of God which is determining now an end of days. But the end of days is not the Armageddon scenario. It is the ascensionist one. It is the one where the mask falls away from the face. The apocalypse is, that's what the word means. That's why prophecy is always spoken to this point in time. Whether the apocalypse is short-lived and lasts only for 21 days, or whether it goes on for 3 years, who knows? But either which way, it is the collective dreaming that will determine the outcome. And what do I see on the other side of this? I see a bliss peak wave hitting humankind at the same time that this mass corona event hits the planet. I see hyperdimensional vibral light coding, photons of a hyperdimensional nature impacting our galaxy, our solar system, and our planet. And every living sentient being on the planet and inside the planet will be impacted and affected by that mass photonic event, which will enlighten us from the inside. It'll change the orbit and the spin of atoms within our very beings. We are moving into an imminent immortal upgrade, which is taking place at every level, from the building blocks of reality that we understand as being quarks, subatomic particles, leptons, all of that nonsense, all the way up to the galactic plane of existence is undergoing that shift. Sit back, friends, on the throne of self, be blissful and enjoy this. This is the softest landing we could possibly have envisioned for ourselves at the catastrophic failure of the end of the age of blood cult. I can tell you now that either which way, what prevails is going to be the common pulse of humankind and the divine. And that will prevail. And we're about to move either which way into a higher extension of our consciousness and our soul. So just be prepared for that. Start making peace within. Start making a real departure from time and money and fear. and all of the falsity of the matrix. Start to begin this process of disidentification in your own home whilst we're all sitting in the cave waiting for a mass corona event or whatever the hell is going to happen. It's all immaterial. That's all out there. What matters, as we all know, is the inner alchemy. So let's use this opportunity to reconnect with ourselves and to start to actually tap into joy and to bliss and to delight and into our eternal expression of being able to love and be loved.
Hey everybody, this is Eran Zahavi. Welcome back to the Day Out of Time celebration, return to natural time. So excited to have a very special guest with us today. She was an apprentice, a protege of Jose Arguelles. She is an author, a visionary, a mystic, and the president of the Foundation of the Law of Time, Stephanie Seth. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an honor. Thanks for having me.
And so we connect today at a very auspicious time. 28 years now from the first Day Out of Time. So maybe you can speak a little bit about that time shift, what the time shift means and what's important about this particular Day Out of Time and what we can see moving forward to the future, carrying forward what's happened the 28 years prior.
Okay, well, first, the Day Out of Time is a day for Galactic Freedom Day, a day to step out of the regular, mundane, conditioned mindset and remember that we are galactic citizens, that we're cosmic, that we're from the stars. And the Day Out of Time was founded by Dr. Jose Arguelles in 1992. And it was helped promoted by his wife at the time, Lloyd Dean, who spread the message. But it's based on the law of time. It's based on the knowledge of timing frequencies and knowing that we have to get back to a 13 moon count, which is the feminine cycle. So the Day Out of Time, it's basically there's 13 moons with 28 days each, 13 times 28, 364. Plus one, and that's the Day Out of Time, celebrated internationally on July 25th every year.
And now this is so 28 years since the first Day Out of Time. And is there any particular significance about that number?
Well, 28 is the magic number. It's the count of the moons, and 28 is the feminine cycle, of the female menstruation is approximately 28 days. So it's tuned in and tapped in with our biological rhythms. And so it's very significant. The time that we're living, it's so significant right now, everything that's occurring. And this year's Day Out of Time lands on the white magnetic mirror, which is really a day for deep reflection on what are we doing here? How can we turn this around? It's a day to pause and to really just dissolve back to the source and rethink things, reflect. It's a reflective day.
And so mentioning that it's the white magnetic mirror, and of course that is from the dream spell, key number 118. And so maybe you can speak a little bit about the dream spell and the importance of it in terms of working in a harmonic resonance with the 13-moon calendar.
Right. Well, first, the word dream spell actually means any consensual reality. If two or more people agree on one reality, that's a dream spell, just to clarify what that word means. The dream spell that we're talking about is mathematically coded based on the underlying mathematics of the Mayan calendar, but it's universal mathematics. And so each day has a different vibration, and we call these the dream spell codes. So for example, on the Day Out of Time, it will be the white magnetic mirror. Every day has an affirmation that's mathematically coded. The idea of dream spell actually came to Jose in a dream, when he had a dream that we were all back 13,000 years ago, when we were all whole at the time, everything was interconnected, and then boom, a shattering happened that fragmented all of our consciousness. And so in essence, the dream spell and all of the codes of the law of time are memory codes. They're frequency codes for the lost time travelers, for those who have fragmented their consciousness. We're picking up the pieces now and kind of reconnecting with each other and putting ourselves back together. So that's the essence of the dream spell, is to shift the dream spell of this artificial mechanized time that's headed toward merging with the machine, shift it into a different timeline of natural time where synchronicity, abundance, joy, magic reigns. And so those are the two different frequencies of the law of time: the mechanical frequency 1260 and then the 1320. The dream spell is the 1320 codes, so memory codes.
And so powerful to be able to unveil these and to help us remember who we are and how we're supposed to act with each other and with the world and with the cosmos and with the planet. And we need it now more than ever with what is happening.
Yes.
And the two together, can you speak about, you use the term synchronometer, and maybe opposed to calendar or in conjunction with calendar. Can you speak about what that means and how do you actually apply it correctly?
Yes. So the 13 moon calendar, we call it synchronometer because usually a calendar, has the connotation of taxes and money and the calendar count. So synchronometer is a measure of synchronicity. And so, so this particular 13 moon, 28 day synchronometer is a measure of synchronicity. And when we use it, if you just try it for a 28-day period, many report that their levels of synchronicity increases exponentially. So it's a synchronometer. It synchronizes us back to the cycles of nature.
And there are other things that people can do to get into those cycles that may be outside or inside of the calendar, inside of the synchronometer. If they're still adhering to the Gregorian calendar, how can they still work within the essence of these teachings?
Well, I think that the bottom line for all of these teachings is meditation. Just being able to really relax our mind, which is the hardest thing for all of us to do, because all of this knowledge was based on years of meditation. Jose was meditated for like 16 years before all of this even came. And so for all of us, it's really learning how to relax back into the natural mind, which is then relaxing back into our cosmic essence and the greater galactic being that's navigating all of this. And it's the memory that we're all one. So basically, what I would recommend is just learning to be still, which is the hardest thing, and coming in the present moment, because all time, past, future, present, is accessed in the eternal now.
And that's something maybe you can expand on a little bit. We hear about the idea of the eternal now, and time, as we're taught, is that it is linear and that it sort of cuts through space. But we know that that's not actually the case. So maybe you can speak a little bit to what the true nature of time is.
Yes. Well, the true nature of time is not linear. It's a radial whole. It's cycles within cycles within cycles. And so, for example, in our life, something might occur, and if we don't learn the lesson, the cycle comes back and we get the same lesson again. And it's a cycle. Once we learn it, we step off the wheel into another octave. And so that's a little bit about that. And practicing presence is so important because, like I said, time is what they call the Mayan term, the Zavuya circuit, which is the memory hotline that connects past, present, and future. And it's with the figure 8. So in the very center is the present moment. So we have to get ourselves into this equilibrium because we're always having future information coming in and past information coming in, and we're the center point that's processing all of this information. And the world as we see it now is responding to past events. It's just recycling the same old story that we've replayed in other times, on other planets, on other worlds, and we haven't learned the lesson yet. So coming into the collective present moment, to me, that is what is meant by the Great Awakening.
And this is something that has been prophesized or foretold for many thousands of years to come. And maybe you can speak a little bit about that aspect of it for those of us that are experiencing what's happening now and feeling very afraid of the circumstances. There may be some sort of nice feeling to come back to, or some safety to know that it's in some ways right on cue, right on plan.
Yes.
And so can you speak to that?
Well, the golden age has been prophesied in many traditions, many religions, by many different names. And we know that, the time that we're living, how I see it is, I see it all like a grand cosmic motion picture show. And this is a particular scene in the play, and we're all the actors and actresses. That change has to come within each one of us to break this old dream spell once and for all. Because there's multiple dream spells that are playing out simultaneously on the planet right now. And so, so it's the re-empowerment of the people to connect with their own essence and source. When you've had enough fear, pain, and suffering, you're going to sincerely reach out, send out a beam to this, had enough pain, and that it's a feedback loop. So that's reciprocated according to the pureness of our heart and to the intention that we're putting out. People, everyone's going through, this is the most chaotic time on the planet. Every single emotion is coming up. We're in an alchemical vessel. And when you're in the alchemical vessel, it can look really chaotic and really ugly. And all this stuff is like churning and coming up and everything. But we have to really focus on the gold that we're becoming. It's like when lead be gold, and we have to focus on where we're going rather than get caught up in the drama playing out right now.
And that it can be easier said than done for many of us. And that's where it feels like some of the work that you're bringing forth and the teachings are so helpful to provide the guidance to be able to navigate through these waters. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, from the stillness to the meditation, to the synchronometers, to the returning into stillness and into the natural time. And with that, there's a lot that you are bringing forth to support that. So share with us about the foundation of the law of time and the work that you guys are doing to support this transition and this really important work.
Well, the foundation for the law of time is, essentially we promote the 13th moon. We create one every year in an almanac, and we educate about time and consciousness, and hopefully offer these tools so that people can get a fresh perception of who they are and what's going on the planet today. And, I can attest, since 1998, I've been working with it, and many initiations, but the perceptual shifts, it's like, you whatever we put our mind on, it opens up a doorway. Right now, we're all fixated, we're programmed by particular symbols. Symbols program our life. These are a particular set of memory codes or vibrational frequencies to pull us off of this artificial grid that keeps going in a time loop, so that we just keep repeating the same rote things over and over. So the foundation for the law of time, like I said, educates people on the nature of time and consciousness, the synchronic order, the codes. It deals with healing the ancient traumas that were set forth in other times and other worlds. There's many facets to it, but in essence, it educates about time, consciousness, and where we're at in this planetary transition.
And you've been doing this yourself. You said you've been in this work for about 22 years now. And can you share a little bit for some people that may be a little bit new to this? What have you seen transpire over this past generation? How has this movement grown?
It's grown in very different ways, because up until 2012, it was one thing. Okay, there was a momentum in that way. And then after 2012, it switched into something else. And with the passing of Dr. Jose Arguelles, who I knew as Bloom Botan in 2011, things have shifted, because this knowledge is living knowledge. And so it shifts to become relevant for the time that we're living. And now, it offers tools and codes for self-transformation, basically, and to be able to, lift our consciousness, like I said, out of the rote frequencies. And it's also all-inclusive. We have people from all over the world, of every tradition and walk of life, because this is non-dogmatic. It's not like you just must follow this and this is the only thing. It's an all-inclusive matrix that pulls the nectar or the essence from each of the true religions or traditions and combines them into one new bouquet.
It's a beautiful way to tell it. And we know that there may be a lot of different flavors, a lot of different scents, but it's all part of the same human family.
Yes.
And so to have something that can tie it together and still honor the uniqueness and the differences, which is what's requisite for us to be able to have harmony. And so beautiful to weave it the way that you did. Mm-hmm. And, Stephanie, I'm just so appreciative to have this time with you and being able to share your wisdom. Can you let us know how people can find you and follow up with some of the work you're doing? And then I'd ask you to leave with a message of hope and a message of possibility in these challenging times that you find inspired by from this work, and why we all have something to be excited about.
Okay. Well, you can find more information at www.lawoftime.org, or there's a blog. We have an Instagram, Living Time Science on Instagram. We just opened that not too long ago. And then livingtimescience.com, which is my website. But www.lawoftime.org, we have the 13 Moon Almanac for this year. If you're interested, you can get that. We have a free pocket calendar that you can get online that will be coming out in just a few days. There's a ton of information. There's a ton of literature and books and videos, all of the above. So if you're interested, just put your intention that direction, and I'm sure a whole realm of a new reality will open.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And if you could leave us with some parting words of possibility and opportunity of what's to come.
Well, I would just say to everybody to just remember how powerful that you actually are, and remember we were actually born for this time. No matter how dark it may appear, no matter how scary it may appear, something very glorious is coming on the other side of all of this, and we have to really set our compass onto the world that we want to create and begin to speak it into existence, because vibration is so powerful. And so we want to, acknowledge the past and everything, everything that's going on. Everything has to be healed, to be brought into the present moment. But just remember, we're born for this time, and it takes each one of us to turn all of this around. And remember that love is the most important thing. The cultivation of our heart is number one.
Beautiful. There's nothing more to say after that, except thank you. Thank you for the message, the wisdom, and the reminder that we chose to be here, and the opportunity that we have with the times now, choosing love and what we can create. Yes. So Stephanie South, president of the Foundation of the Law of Time, and author, thank you so much for joining on this beautifully auspicious day to celebrate the 28th day out of time. And everyone watching, invite you to continue in the celebration as we return to natural time.
Thank you, Aaron.
We are the ones. This is a meditation to connect with your inner divinity. As you connect with your divinity, you will feel more balanced in life. You will be able to have more balanced relationships. You'll feel more balanced in your career and just in general with yourself. Let us begin. Sitting with your legs crossed, up straight, bring your hands together to your heart, bowing down, giving thanks. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Bring your palms open, facing up, and you're going to make a fist and release. Make a fist and release. Keep breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Make a fist and release. Keep breathing. Take your hands and rest them gently onto your thighs. Palms come to the knees. Continue breathing, inhaling and exhaling, aligning your body with the earth, aligning your body with nature and the elements as you continue breathing. Closing the eyes. Inhaling, taking a big full breath. Exhaling, releasing the breath. Continue inhaling, taking in the breath, and exhaling, releasing the breath. We are going to take the breath now and send it up into different parts of the body so you will experience more clarity, relaxation, and connection. Inhale, taking a big breath, and as you exhale, send your breath up to the crown of your head. Inhale again, and as you exhale, bringing the breath down into your third eye or the area between your two eyes. On your next exhalation, you will release the muscles in the face. On your next exhalation, you will bring the breath down into the throat. On your next exhalation, exhaling down into the shoulders, feeling them relax away from the ears. Exhaling down into the arms. Exhaling down into the fingers and the hands. Exhaling down into the heart, opening up the chest. Exhaling down into the belly. Exhaling down into the pelvis. Exhaling down into the thighs. Exhaling down into the knees. And exhaling down into the shins and the calves. On your next exhalation, you will send the breath to your ankles. And then moving down to exhale into the feet, all the way out through the toes. As you inhale, bring your breath all the way up the body to the crown of the head, and as you exhale, releasing the breath all the way back down out through the feet. Repeat this again, inhaling all the way up, exhaling all the way down. Keep inhaling and exhaling. And gently begin to open your eyes. First a quarter of the way, and then half into full eye opening as you come back into the space. Inhaling and exhaling. Remembering you are divine, take your right hand, bring it to your heart. Repeat to yourself, I am divine. I am a divine being. As you walk through your day, you will remember the breath and how divine you truly are.
Day at a time. The 25th of July. Look up in the sky. What will you see? The language of energy, always there, a gift to be. Adored, explored, open the door and see with the inner sight. Your love has to be out of time to be in divine align. Yeah, synchronize with the wise. Your love has to be beyond time, beyond space, beyond the pace of the human race. Your love has to be connected, perfected, projected, detected with the source of reality beneath the world of the seen. Bless her, the queen. The day out of time, Neptune is squaring in its own sign, Pisces. Neptune is squaring Venus. What are we talking about? We're talking about universal love. See, this personal love represented by Venus is increased, multiplied, and released into a united state of unicity in your vicinity, in your thoughts that are bought, in your giving, in your caring, in your reactions, in your sharing, is raised to a high vibration if you are here to fulfill your meditation and your mission. Intuition is through love. You love that you may learn to live. You live that you may learn to love. No other lesson is required of humankind. Male, female, self versus others. Venus is opposite Mars, Libra and Aries. Not a self-versing others only in fight and flight, in debate, in racism, in hate, in debase, in fears, in depression and grief, in tears. No, the self within, the war within, my friend. The male and female must be balanced. The fight is on the low level, the low frequency. Inside of you is the reality. That's why we got to get still and feel, calm down, walk through the tide, and there we meet true spirituality. Nothing else is civilized. Saturn is opposite the sun on the day at a time. Authentic authority is accurate maturity. You see, authentic authority is rising, is strengthening. The ancestors, the elders, the grandmas, the grandpas, the crones, the strong that live and continue long, that love courageously is rising in you. We've got comets in the sky coming close, a cluster of ancestors and heavenly hosts assisting us in a pandemic, in a pollution, confusion, trapped about thinking, captive, dust that we can't hardly breathe clean unless we can rise to supreme. What do I mean? The yin and the yang. Everybody's yanging out in Western society, externalized for the self, the desire only to fulfill this illusion dream, mainstream herd mentality dream. What I mean, it's like, who's going within? Listen to the Tao Ching. Say, stay close to the female. See the male. See the white, stay close to the black. We're not talking about colors, gain and lack. We are talking about states of being, states of seeing. This invisible world does twirl, and everything that is physical is inside it, like a priceless pearl. What am I saying to you? You must be true. This day out of time and synchronicity can lift you, can bring you to this state of harmonic conversion. You look at the pyramid from the ancient Kemetic teachings. At the base of the pyramid is the point of extreme opposites, male and female, fighting, nagging, desiring, repelling. And as you find the middle point, you find the harmonic point of view. We must find this place so we can enter into the grace of the harmonic conversion coming up later in August place. But I'm saying to you, crew, family, beloved, this is true. It's your time now to find the meaning of your life in this beautiful, synchronized, divine manifestation. Woman besting, manifesting all that can hear the call. So here's the thing, the war is inside of you. Yes, it's the battle within. Balance, the assertiveness, the aggressiveness, the anger, the fight and the flight, the resistance. That animal passionate spirit must be what? Controlled by Saturn the sun, the ancient of old, the one who has won. The future and the past and the whole sum of the authentic authority inside of you rises. Do you have a clue? Release it and listen to your elders. You say you respect them, then show, not neglect them. They're teaching in the actions and even without words. Listen to the sound of the wind, the movement, the intelligence in the breeze, the birds they're visiting, the deer, the animals, they're clear, they're in tune with nature. And you'll find the day out of time will be your divine align. I'm saying to you right now, and all the crew, get it clear that nothing is important here except your love power, dear. You can be deceived, you can try to achieve, you can pick up your boots and get ready to fight, to kill, and deceive. But you will be disconnected, rejected, fragmented away from your source. Powerless, lost in the source of cruising for a bruising. What's your choice? I'm saying the day out of time is here. And as we move forward, that day, the 1st of August, So we move as we're progressing, the sun squares Uranus, and the moon is conjunct Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn, where all of this tempestuous wind began to blow, and the virus came out at the beginning of the year. So now we're accenting back here, the best or the worst, August the 1st. You see, what are you going to allow to flow through you? You can hold on to past patterns of dysfunctional projecting and not owning your shadow and your deeds. But believe me, they're all like seeds. They'll come back in the wind. Karma is real, my friend. So the only seeds to sow that you can be proud to show is some love, some compassion, some forgiveness. Families are joining together for reunions. There are spiritual families, confluence. There's flesh and blood families that need a lot of healing. So are you willing to do your part? Now you can start. Activate the love sparks from the heart. In the day out of time, divine synchronicity align. As Mercury squares Mars, communication will be a spark from memory banks of pain suppressed beneath the chest. You have to sit in solitude The whole mystery of this time and the mood is meditation, going within, introspection, the download of the revelation, the sacred governance of you, the know thyself for true. Yeah, government is changing, and government begins with your own self-control. If you're out of control, you're disconnected from your soul. You got an opportunity before the excretion hits the wind. You better be beyond the breeze, in the center of peace and tranquility as the tempest spins for cleansing, purification, catharsis, for the revelation of the prophecy by the ancient Mayans with the pyramids synchronized with ancient Kemetic. They must know something. The day out of time, a prophecy bringing forth a new era. You have to do something different to get change. The arrow is pointing straight at you, my friend. What are you going to do? It's your time to fulfill your divine rhyme. I am Tuere Chica, mystic astrologer. I'm honored to express the very best of yourself in Lakesh. I'm another you, and that's for true. And that's the only way you can love and get through. Asar, everyone is yourself. By far, Almighty is your wealth. Tuere Chica, loving you. In Lakesh, Hotep, Namaste.
Hey everybody, hope you all are doing well. Happy day out of time. My name is Hawa. I'm coming to you live from Washington, D.C. This is one of my little spots called Rock Creek Park. And 2020 definitely has been the year out of time. And as we think about convergence and we think about really what it means to realign to the calendar, in the 13 moon cycle, I offer you this poem that I wrote a couple months ago as we all quarantine, and many of us continue to quarantine here around the world. Solidarity to those who are staying safe, and the frontline workers, of course, that are out there. This poem is called "This Is the Time." This is a time for remembering, for slowing down, for stopping. This is a time for pausing long enough to see the system for what it truly is, how we've been trapped by it, how we are held prisoner to our 10-hour workdays. This could be a time to let the system reset. Do we really want to go back to things as they used to be? Sometimes we have to get sick to remember what it means to be healthy. Sometimes we have to break our leg to remember what it means to walk. Sometimes we don't ask for the gifts we receive in life. Sometimes we don't even recognize them as gifts. So as the smoke clears, as the cars stop, as the buses, trains, and planes move empty, this is a time to sit still, to be where we are. This is a time to not rush off to the next event, the next coffee, onto the next sports game. Maybe in this time we will find a joy in returning to the simple things. Maybe call someone you haven't talked to in a really long time. Maybe even in this time we will eat a little less. Perhaps we will meditate a little more. Maybe read an old journal from a decade ago. This might be a time to empty your closet. This might be a time to resurrect old passions. This might be a time to think, what on earth is going on? The Amazon rainforests have been burning and we haven't stopped. The coral reefs around the world have been decimated and we have not stopped. The polar ice caps are melting at a dizzying rate, and still we have not stopped. Maybe we should take a second and reevaluate. Why have we not yet stopped? Why can't we stop? This might be a time for us to stop and think and watch the birds. They have so much to teach us. Let us listen to their songs. Let us protect the planet. Let us not go back to our old ways. Yeah, this is the time, y'all. This is it. This is now. This is birthing. You know, the birthing of a new world, a new culture, a new consciousness. And it begins with natural time and returning to natural time. It begins by returning to the earth and harmonizing with the planet, harmonizing with all that is in front of us and before us. And so I urge all of you to connect to that deepest piece of your soul right now and dig in and put all of your drishti, all of your energy, all of your focus into igniting the very greatest of our potential. Let's come together and let's find ways to move beyond the division, the separation, the illusion of darkness. And let's give birth to something beautiful. Thank you so much. My name is Hawa. I'm here in Washington, D.C. It's hot out here, but I'm really happy to be coming and connecting with you all today. Be well. Peace and blessings.
Tell me what makes you weary. Tell me what lights up your eyes. I'll meet you there in the middle. We'll lay down and harmonize. Tell me what makes you peaceful. Tell me what you fantasize. I'm taking notes in the moonlight. We'll lay down and harmonize. We'll lay down and harmonize. I'm awake for you. I'm awake for, I'm awake understand.